And one last question for both of you. Generally speaking, the survey suggests that the larger, more established players are better positioned to attract increasing amounts of talent and capital. Smaller and less established players, on the other hand, may be seeing competitive advantages flow from less complicated operating models and greater flexibility. Can you speak to this finding? Tom, why don't you go first?
Yeah, certainly, as we're, see this period, and to the extent it may be, expand beyond the end of this year, the inference that we got from the managers that we spoke to was that when it came to any new business being created, it's likely to fall to those who have pre-existing relationships between manager and investor. So, we're likely to see then the industry become more bifurcated, where maybe the more established, I would not say the larger manager per se, but maybe the more established manager where there's a relationship with the investor is likely to see any new investment. So certainly that bifurcation could very well happen. And that's what we're hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add to that in that I think if you look at the benefits that would attribute to the larger firms, clearly in the area of data analysis, I would say second generation technology tools as artificial intelligence and other things that are available. I think the larger firms have ability to invest in those areas. And many times that's very expensive, especially a lot of the data sets. But on the other hand, as Tom alluded to, I think the smaller firms or the newer firms are a little more nimble. They're trading less capital. They also operationally are not tied to any legacy systems. A lot of large firms who would like to go to the new technology and rethink their business operating models, quite often that's a more difficult decision than a smaller firm who has already smart sourced a lot of their operations. I think this business has always been very entrepreneurial. So I think you're always going to see the emerging manager and the young and the new managers, and we see that now. If you actually, talk to a lot of folks that are watching the formation of new firms and new funds now, there's a lot of money being directed toward credit funds, directed toward long-short health funds, and I would say in the convertible ARB space right now. So you see a lot of hedge fund formation, at the same time that the larger firms are attracting more capital. And I would say, as Tom said, largely because of that investor relations benefit that they have.
Great, thank you. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about that we haven't covered so far, John and Tom?
The one point that I would have people reflect on is how this is likely to impact on the business of investor relations. So what we have found through the course of this research is that the emergence and popularity of the virtual setting has somewhat leveled the playing field, when it comes to engagement between managers and investors. Investors are able to see more managers, whereas in the past they would have had to get on a plane, choose a particular conference that they might have wanted to go and see, give an investor and had a criteria of a list of investors that they wanted to meet with. Now they can do it from the comfort of their own sofa, their own office, engage with them virtually. And equally, managers can really offer more of their front office, their CIO, their CEO to engage with investors more frequently, and also have those conversations where they might have only put forward somebody else within their ranks to have that engagement. So it should see the IOR model improve for the better. And we're seeing that in terms of the new engagements that are taking place between managers and investors.
That's great.
Pete, what I found very interesting from the results of the survey and the multitude of interviews that we did is the importance that these firms place on the culture of the organizations. I found that to be consistent in all the interviews that we did. While operationally things are working well remotely, it gives them an advantage to be able to attend to the health issues and be respectful of the health issues before returning to office. However, it was very clear that we are returning to office. Culture and collaboration is very, very important to the success of these firms, and they were adamant upon that. This is not going to be a 50-50, 50% of the people going back and 50% of the people working remotely going forward. This was more of a 90% of the people are going back to the office. Maybe some of the 10% of the folks can work remotely in some of the functions, but the collaboration of the thought process and the intellect was very, very critical to the success of these firms.
Great, thanks so much. John, Tom, thanks so much, and we look forward to reading the new report, Agile and Resilient Alternative Investments, Embrace the New Reality. Thanks so much for taking time with us today.
Thank you,
Okay.
Pete.
Thanks, Peter.